Okay, it is PFL 2025, a new format this season for the Professional Fighters League. It's a world tournament this year. We've got 8-man brackets in every weight class. I think the $1 million prize is gone if I'm not mistaken, but I believe it's I think it's 500K. Anyways, we still get 8-man tournaments in every single weight class, and honestly, I think the PFL did a really good job with this. Now, I am definitely in the minority with this, but I actually like the old format. I thought it encouraged finishes, and I kind of like the format coming down to the final regular season fights, thinking, oh, this guy needs a finish in less than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I understand it created for unnecessary rematches, like, for example, Shamil Musayev, in his semifinal fight, taking on the same opponent in Murad Ramazanov. I know it creates for that a lot. I mean, Silveira and Kasunganai fought multiple times over the last couple seasons, and they might fight again this year. But anyways, right, I didn't mind it, but I think they did a really good job with this, and I think they got some really competitive fights. My only problem with all of this, the biggest names aren't fighting in this. I don't know. Brenton Loughnan's not fighting in this. Shamil Musayev, who won the championship last year, not in this tournament. I don't know what they're doing with Dakota Ditcheva. She's not in this either. So that's my only concern with this, but I think there's some really fun fights, and a lot of these matchups are very evenly matched. I'll go over all the brackets in a second just to show you guys, but then obviously we're gonna have predictions for every single fight. Now, welcome to Greedo Plays MMA. If you haven't been here before with the PFL videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel a lot if you just subscribe. We're gonna be doing this weekly here on the channel at the PFL. We do UFC predictions every single week, as well as yesterday we posted our UFC Fight Night Emmett versus Murphy predictions, and we're also going to have the GFL as well, but we're going to do PFL, obviously World Tournament, PFL Europe, PFL MENA as well, all things MMA here on the Greedo Plays MMA channel. Also subscribe to the main channel, Greedo Plays, daily college basketball, or daily NBA best bets, daily college basketball best bets, and daily MLB best bets as well. Okay, real quickly, let's look at these brackets, because this is what we're dealing with today. Today we have both the welterweights, so Jason Jackson, Andre Koreshkov, Thad Jean taking on Mukhmed Berkhamov. We've got Logan Storley, Magomed Umalatov, and we've got Kikuiri taking on Bachar in the other fight. That's what I'm talking about. No disrespect to those guys, I think it should be a good fight, but where did we find Bachar? I know where they got Bachar from, the Ultimate Fighter, but why is he in here, and why isn't, top welterweights and Bellator fighting in this? That's my only concern with this, but it's okay. And the other bracket we have today is, the featherweight division. Adam Borics taking on Jesus Pinedo. Gabriel Braga is not fighting Lando anymore. He's fighting Dupras, and we'll get to that later. Movlid Khaybulaev taking on Jeremy Kennedy, and Nathan Kelly versus Kim Tae-Kyun. It's a whole bracket now, so you have set matchups, and you know who you're going to fight all the way onto the finals. Okay, so now let's get on to our first fight of the night. Starting things off in the welterweight division, this is a replacement fight, so this is first alternate fight, not in the bracket. It is a matchup here between Joseph Luciano and Sarek Shields. The first fight of the night was supposed to be Frederick Dupois taking on Nathan Garib. That fight's off because Dupois is taking over Yves Landu's spot to fight Gabriel Braga later on the night. So Joseph Luciano taking on Sarek Shields. I'm going Joseph Luciano in this fight. We're taking the New Zealand fighter to win. Australian, excuse me. I think he's the better guy in this one. He's fought in Bellator before, 1-0 in the promotion, fought Stephen Hill in late 2024, ended up winning by Anaconda choke in the second round. Originally booked to fight Thad Jean on this card, however, Jean had to be a replacement fighter to get into the actual tournament himself, so now Luciano gets Sarek Shields. I don't really know where they got Sarek Shields. He's just, I'll be honest, he hasn't fought in a while, and he's just a mid-LFA guy. I'm just going to call it how it is. He fought Thad Jean back in 2022. He got knocked out in the second round. He was 2-2 in LFA, and he's been knocked out twice. Do I think Luciano's able to knock him out? No, that's not really what he does. Luciano is a submission hunter. He is a grappler, and I think he probably finds a way to a submission in the first round. I just don't think Sarek Shields is very good. He's coming off a victory in his last fight in 2024 in Clinch Fight Club over Faye Bursell, a fighter who was 7-2 at the time. But exactly, he's coming off of Clinch Fight Club. Went 2-2 in LFA, fought in King in the Cage a while ago, not impressed. I think Joseph Luciano easily wins this fight. I think he gets the fight to the ground and finds the submission. I think it's very telling that Sarek Shields is the late notice replacement fighter. Luciano should easily handle this fight, and we're going Joseph Luciano to win by first round sub in the alternate fight. Now we go on to the actual tournament itself. The first fight in the featherweight division, we go to a matchup here between Nathan Kelly as he takes on makes his PFL debut, Kim Tae-kyun. We are going with Tim K-kyun by decision. I think it's a bad matchup for Nathan Kelly, if I'm being honest. Nathan Kelly, 11-3. He was always a very well-protected PFL guy and Bellator guy prior to really his last fight early in 2025 on the only PFL card so far this year. He lost to Ahmed Magomedov. He gets submitted in the second round. I remember talking about that fight at the time, and I was just really confused because Nathan Kelly was very protected in Bellator and PFL. They always gave him the best matchups, and they all of a sudden give him Magomedov, a guy who's 10-1, really good grappler, only lost to Henry Corrales, and obviously, Magomedov found a way to submit him in the second. So now Nathan Kelly gets into the tournament coming off a loss, which makes you wonder, where is Ahmed Magomedov, who's coming off a win? I don't know. Where is Kai Kamaka? I forgot. Kai Kamaka's in GFL. It's crazy they got him out of there. Anyways, I don't know why the PFL wouldn't sign Kai Kamaka. Regardless, Nathan Kelly now in this tournament, taking on Kyun Kim, a fighter who is 10-1. His only loss is Roman Bagatinov, right? Bagatinov, a former UFC name, only had one fight. It was a loss to Leo Santos on Fight Island. But regardless, right, that's Taekyun Kim's only loss, and it was by split decision in Brave. Coming off a win a year ago in UAE Warriors, a first-round knockout. I like Kim. He's very well-balanced. He's got good striking. He can grapple as well. I think I'm not going to call him the complete package, but he's pretty solid. And the regional resume for him, winning in Brave over some good names, beating Hussein Kami Magomedov by third-round TKO, a guy who was 7-0 at the time, beating Nurzan Ashkiev by decision in Brave, 11-2 fighter. Again, the only loss is to a former UFC name in Bagatinov. I really don't think he's all that bad. And Nathan Kelly, man, good grappling, striking, I think leaves a little bit to be desired at times. And again, I think you're just really protected in Bellator and PFL. And now you're matching him up against, I don't want to say Kim's an elite guy, but tough fighters. And somehow if Nathan Kelly gets past this one, let's be honest, he's probably going to run into Moved Khaybulaev, which is a tough fight. But regardless, right now, we're going to go with Taekyun Kim to get him out of there. I got Kim advancing to the second round out of Korea. I think he wins this fight by decision. I think he wins it everywhere. I know Kelly's got grappling, but Kim is really solid everywhere. So I'm going to take Taekyun Kim to win the fight and outpoint Nathan Kelly. We go on to our next fight. It's a matchup in the welterweight division as we have the Greek fighter Yanis Bachar taking on Masayuki Kikuiri coming from Japan. I'm going with Kikuiri to win the fight. He's already had multiple fights in Bellator. He's won both of them, his first one being a knockout victory in the second round over Alexei Serkiewicz, and his second one being a Herman Tirado TKO win, working the body, found the shot, won it by third round TKO in September of 2024. So former Pancrase fighter is Kikuiri. This guy's got hands though, man. He has hands and he can knock you out. Yanis Bachar, really the limited sample size I've seen out of him. I know he was the Cage Warriors champion prior to going on to the Ultimate Fighter, but let's just be honest, guys. Cage Warriors champions just have not seen the most success recently. They just lose a lot once they get to the main show. Bachar goes to the Ultimate Fighter, runs into Robert Valentin, loses the fight by first round knockout. Now, Valentin's a guy who's going to be fighting this week in the UFC against Torres Finney. Go watch our video for that. I predicted Torres Finney to ground and pound him and maul him in the first round. And it kind of just putting into perspective how that loss is. Bachar's an MMA Masters guy. Obviously, that's the Colby Covington gym. I'm down in South Florida. He's got hands, yes, but I think Matsuyuki is better. What I've seen out of Kikuiri, at least in Bellator, he's able to find that shot, and he has performed at the Bellator level so far. For Bachar, he's won in Cage Warriors, but I think the talent's obviously not as good as the Bellator guys that Kikuiri's fighting. Not saying, again, Bellator has the highest level of talent at times, but we did see Bachar in his one fight in the Ultimate Fighter get knocked out in 20 seconds. So I'm going to take the Japanese fighter here, Masayuki Kikuiri, to win the fight by first round knockout. Again, the points don't matter anymore, so it's not like it's a quick six anymore in PFL. This is just moving on to the second round. But I think he gets Bachar. Just something about Cage Warriors champions, man. They just don't really perform. And we saw him get cracked in his Ultimate Fighter fight, has not fought since. So it's been a year since he's last fought. I'm going to take Kikuiri to win the fight by first round knockout, advancing him to the second round of this tournament, where he'll take on the winner of Logan Storley versus Magomed Umalatov. To our next fight of the night, and we go to the just put together matchup. I'm recording this video at 1 o'clock. This fight got put together, I kid you not, 10 minutes ago. As I was making the graphics, I was getting ready for Yves Landu versus Gabriel Braga and Frederic Dupois versus Nathan Garib, and I saw on the PFL's Twitter, Jonathan Coachman's breaking news on fights. It's now Dupras versus Braga. I think Braga is going to be okay. I actually was going to pick Dupras to lose to Garib, just because I think Dupras, I know he's a good grappler. That's, what I've seen out of him. Striking-wise, he leaves a lot to be desired. I don't want to completely compare him to Michel Dufort from last year, because, they're both French-Canadian, but a guy who's never fought in the PFL/Bellator before coming in, and I get it, Dufort was a playoff fighter last season, but he was a little one-dimensional. He wasn't horrible. He was better than I thought he was going to be, I'm going to be completely honest. But now we get Braga taking on Dupras. I think it's a tough matchup for Dupras on short notice. And sure, it's a stylistic change for Gabriel Braga as well, because he's going to have to deal with the grappling of Dupras. But if Dupras is not able to take him down, I fully expect Gabriel Braga to take over this fight. And this is the problem the PFL's been having recently with a lot of their fights falling out. Hell, the next two main events for PFL were not normally scheduled main events. The next one is going to be Leandro Higo taking on Josh Rittenhouse, former Ultimate Fighter name. He lost to Brady Heastand on the Ultimate Fighter, if you remember that, on the Nunes Pena season. Regardless, that fight was originally supposed to be Leandro Higo versus it's Magomedov, which would have been a pretty good fight, decent main event. Instead, Josh Rittenhouse is now in the main event for that one. The fight card after, in the middleweight division, originally supposed to be Impa Kasanganay versus Fabian Edwards. It's now Impa Kasanganay versus Jordan Newman, which, interesting fight for Kasanganay. I really hope he doesn't get cracked coming in on that fight, because, that's how Newman fights. Counter-striker, Impa charging in, boom, he gets cracked like Newman was getting Aliev in his last fight. Regardless, we'll talk about that in a couple weeks. Both of their next main events fell out, and this is another fight that fell out as well. There's so many fights that's just been dropping like flies for the PFL, which kind of confusing. I don't know. Regardless, Braga Dupras, I think Braga beats him. I can see the pathway to victory easily, though, for Dupras. I honestly can. Hell, if Dupras gets him down, okay, we're going to see Braga's grappling on full display. Now, Braga fought Hizraev really close on the playoff card in 2024, which makes you wonder, where's Timur Hizraev, the reigning champion in this weight class? Where's Brendan Loughnane, the guy who lost the championship fight? I don't know. Maybe they're going to the Global Fight League. Who knows? But Braga did fight Hizraev pretty close. Dupras, it's just going to be a stylistic challenge, obviously, because that's all Dupras does. The thing about Dupras, I'm not really impressed with what he's done in the regionals, guys. Canadian regional MMA, if we've seen anything in the UFC, Canadian regional MMA is not that good, because we've seen guys from Canada go to the UFC and they've just been god-awful. Let's just be honest. That's kind of the theme of every UFC Canada card. I know it's the PFL, but still, Canadian regional talent usually isn't the best. Dupras is coming off a victory over Jesse Arnett. Jesse Arnett's a guy who's been there, done that on the regional scene, but he's lost a lot of fights. He lost to Ray Borg, lost to Eliel Casey over in UAE Warriors, and Dupras beats him as well, but I'm just not that impressed with that victory. I think Braga wins. I do see the pathway for Dupras. Don't get me wrong. If he takes down Braga, all right, it's trouble. I think Braga's able to keep it standing, though, and if he's able to keep it standing, he should be able to touch up Dupras on the feet. I'm going to take Gabriel Braga by second round TKO in a victory here to move on to the second round, where Braga will take on the winner of Adam Borics versus Jesus Pinedo, potentially setting up for a trilogy with the former champ. Let's go on to our next fight in the welterweight division. Thad Jean replaces, who's he replacing? He's replacing Florem Zindelli, which I guess, how did Zindelli even get in here? I get he's the PFL Europe champion, but oh no, that makes sense, I guess. But they've been pushing Thad Jean, whatever. I was just kind of surprised Zindelli's not back in PFL Europe. Regardless, Zindelli withdraws from that fight. Step in, Thad Jean to take on Mukhmed Berkhamov. I'm going with the silverback Thad Jean. Okay. I think he can get Berkhamov. I really think so. Berkhamov is one of the few, Russians who have the name Ov at the end of his name that isn't that great. He's not bad, but guys, I saw Lorenz Larkin knock him out in the first round, and that was a fight I was like, all right, they fought the first time, no contest. Okay, I think Berkhamov gets his get back. No, he loses. He's won 2 fights since. He beats Herman Tirado on Bellator 300, expected, and then he beats Ray Cooper III and whatever's left of Ray Cooper III on the second to last PFL card in 2024. It's Ray Cooper. If Thad Jean can still have a takedown, he's going to win this fight. That's the simplest thing I can say about this. Thad Jean, up-and-coming prospect. This guy's good. He's got heavy hands. he hits very hard. He's only 26 years old. I think the PFL, again, like we were saying with Kelly earlier, I mean, this is a guy that they were kind of, trying to slowly move into things here. Well, now you're straight into the tournament. You're fighting Berkhamov. You win this fight, you're fighting the winner of Jason Jackson versus Andre Koreshkov. I mean, there are no more easy fights for Thad Jean, and that's okay. The guy hits really hard. We are going to see the takedown defense, though, in this fight against a guy who will try to take him down in Berkhamov. I think, again, Berkhamov's really hittable. We've seen Lorenz Larkin knock him out. Once he gets to the ground, sure, Berkhamov is solid, former ACB champion. I understand that, but that was back in 2017 at this point. But regardless, a split decision win over Ray Cooper in 2024. I'm not impressed. He's lost to some older guys, well, Lorenz Larkin, but then he almost lost to another older guy in Ray Cooper III. Thad Jean's 26. He's young, he's explosive, and he hits very hard. If he's able to stuff a takedown, he's going to win this fight. The PFL is going to be praying that Thad Jean gets Berkhamov out of here, and I think he will. Thad Jean is a homegrown PFL guy. They found him on their Challenger Series. He's been with the company ever since. Won 2 fights in 2024. I think he gets off to the right track here in 2025. Give me Thad Jean to go out here and knock out Mukhmed Berkhamov. We're going to go second round KO for Thad Jean. He's got really heavy hands, and I think he gets Berkhamov out of here. I'm taking Thad Jean to advance to the second round of the welterweight tournament, again to take on the winner of the ass-kicking machine and Andre Koreshkov. Let's go on to our next fight. It is in the featherweight division. Jeremy Kennedy takes on Movlid Khaybulaev. I applaud Jeremy Kennedy for taking this fight, but I think we all know how this is going to go. Guys, Movlid Khaybulaev still undefeated, right? He's got 1 draw in his entire career. It was in PFL in 2019 when Andre Harrison was still, the guy, and not completely washed up. But Andre Harrison's in GFL now, which surprises me because he's not fought in 3 years. Regardless, Movlid Khaybulaev is taking on Jeremy Kennedy. It's a tough fight for Jeremy Kennedy, a guy who was kind of at the top of Bellator, right? Got the title shot against Patricio Pitbull in 2024. Was, I think, a favorite in that fight. Ended up getting TKO'd in the 3rd round. Comes to PFL at the end of 2024, loses to Gabriel Braga on the championship card. So now he's coming off 2 straight losses and taking on, I'm going to be honest, the toughest fight in the featherweight division, and it's not even close, and the guy who is the heavy favorite to win this thing. Yeah, Jesus Pinedo. Yeah, I guess Borics if he wins that fight. No, Movlid Khaybulaev, if the biggest thing stopping Khaybulaev in this fight is an injury. Because that's what it's been for him. Right? He was going to be in the playoffs in 2023. He picked up back-to-back wins over Hyoji Kudo and Tyler Diamond, where they found Hyoji Kudo, I don't know. But back-to-back victories. Then he's going to fight Gabriel Braga. He gets hurt. He would have been the 2023 champion. He was the 2021 champion, did not fight in 2022, right? 2019 lost to Daniel Pinedo. We don't count that loss, though, because Daniel Pinedo was on roids. But yeah, Daniel Pinedo did crack Khaybulaev. We're not going to talk about that. Regardless, though, Khaybulaev now gets Jeremy Kennedy. It's a matchup he should win. Let's just be honest, okay? He should be able to find his way to beat Jeremy Kennedy. Khaybulaev's solid. He's not the most entertaining guy. I understand, his grappling, and then he's got decent. He's got pretty good striking. It's not fun to watch. I understand. Khaybulaev. That's why PFL maybe they put a hit on him and try to get him injured every time. I don't know. But we know how good this guy is. He's going to keep winning, and he's got to be the favorite to win this entire thing. Again, the biggest thing stopping him is injury. So I don't know if there's any future PFL bets out there, but if there is, if you can get the bet where it's okay, if he gets injured, if he pulls out, you get your money back. If Khaybulaev is anything, if he's remotely close to plus 100, take it. He's going to win this thing. If the only thing that's going to stop him will be an injury. I'm serious. He's going to win this thing if he stays healthy. I don't see anybody in this bracket stopping him. Yes, Jesus Pinedo can knock him out. I don't see it. Adam Borics could give him a tough 5-round fight. Yes, but it's just like last year when we saw Timur Hizraev in the pool. We're like, all right, well, no one's beating him, so fight over, featherweight tournament over. I wanted to see Khaybulaev versus Hizraev in here because he's 2 undefeated Russians, but it's not going to happen because where's Hizraev? I don't know. Where's Shamil Musayev? I don't know. Where's Brendan Loughnane? I don't know. Give me Movlid Khaybulaev to win this fight against Jeremy Kennedy by decision. It won't be fun, but he'll win. Next up, we go to the welterweight division. Magomed Umalatov versus Logan Storley. This is a closer fight than you would think. I am going Magomed Umalatov. I think there's a pathway for Logan Storley, though. just because I think Umalatov, I don't know if he got exposed in his last fight, but he showed that he's not unbeatable. And it was something that was going to happen if he fought Magomed Karamov, I think back in 2023. He ended up losing right to Shamil Musayev. That's why I'm saying I think Musayev's just that good. He's got heavy hands. He's got decent sambo. I want that guy back in PFL. Where is he? I don't know. Hell, if the UFC should try to get Shamil Musayev. I'm serious. That guy hits hard, and he's fun. Anyways, Umlatov's back in the bracket now, and he's taking on Logan Storley. I expect Umalatov to keep the fight standing, at least stuff the takedowns of Storley and just piece him up on the feet. Storley got by Luka Postlet in his last fight. I think that was one in South Dakota. He got by him, beat him by decision. Okay. A tougher fight than I expected for Storley, but it is what it is. He got his victory back, so he gets another fight now in the PFL. The Shamil Musayev loss, in hindsight, it's not that bad anymore, because at the time, I was like, all right, who the hell is Shamil Musayev, right? Undefeated guy, sure, but Logan Storley's still supposed to win this fight, and he ended up getting knocked out in the second round. It was pretty brutal. I mean, Musayev drops him multiple times in that fight, right? Storley, the former interim champion over in Bellator, right? Beat Michael Venom Page by split decision, ended up then fighting Yaroslav Amosov, who he lost to by unanimous decision. Where's Yaroslav Amosov? He fought in CFFC? How did I not hear about that? He fought Curtis Millender. Was that not did no one post that on Twitter or anything? What? I get it. Amosov's not the most entertaining. Why the hell is he in CFFC? I mean, I'd be very surprised if the UFC don't sign him. He's 31. He's 28-1. I get it. The record is very padded, but still, that's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Regardless, Logan Storley, right? We know what he's going to bring. Good wrestling. I just don't think he's able to take down Umalatov, or at least do it on a consistent basis. And I think from there, Umalatov should be able to keep the fight standing, and he should be able to just work his strikes on Storley. I'm not going to say it's going to go like the Musayev fight. I don't think Storley's going to get knocked out here, but I think Umalatov does piece him up on the feet. I think Umalatov does work his way towards a decision. I just don't think Storley's going to have all that much success with the wrestling, because Umalatov does have decent sambo in his own right. So I'm taking Magomed Umalatov. I don't think he's as good as we thought he was. I'm not going to lie. But in terms of the overall bracket, I do think he probably ends up in the championship fight. I mean, he's going to get, I think, Kikuiri in his next fight. Should be winnable. I don't know. I'm going to take Magomed Umalatov, though, to beat Logan Storley and get out of here with a unanimous decision victory. We go on to our co-main event in the featherweight division. Very good fight. A very good fight here between Jesus Pinedo and Adam Borics. This is the fight, and I would not bet on it. If you're thinking about betting PFL, I would not bet on this fight at all. We're going to find out how good Jesus Pinedo really is. I will give Jesus Pinedo a lot of credit. He's fought some tough guys, and he's beat them. But we're going to find out truly how good he is against Adam Borics. Yes, Adam Borics is a real test for him. 100% Adam Borics is a test. Adam Borics, former title challenger from Bellator, from Hungary, obviously, but fought Patricio Pitbull, lost by decision. I mean, I expected Pitbull to get the win, but it's okay. Borics fought a somewhat competitive fight. And then beat Enrique Barzola on the first PFL card last year, was supposed to fight another fight in PFL against Brett Johns to potentially make the playoffs. He had to withdraw from that fight. So here comes Adam Borics back in the tournament. He's a really good fighter, man. He really is. All around, very good. Good on the ground. He's got fun striking, too. I mean, he knocked out Aaron Pico at the flying knee. That's probably his biggest claim to fame at this point. But right, Adam Borics has a win over Jeremy Kennedy, we were talking about earlier. Beat Mads Burnell in a 5-round main event in Bellator as well, something that I didn't expect to happen at the time. Adam Borics is really good. Trust me, he is. We're going to see how good Pinedo is now. Okay, I'm picking Jesus Pinedo to win the fight by second round TKO. I think he does really have those hands. I'm going to be honest, though, I don't know how to judge his 2023 run. Brendan Loughnane knockout, say what you want about it. I think he got a little lucky. I don't know. He just caught Loughnane, and I don't know. I remember, odd story here, guys, but I'm going to tell it real quickly. I remember this, I was watching, I kid you not, guys. I was watching Jesus Pinedo and Brian Loughnane at my high school graduation. That's going to sound insane to hear, because, what are you doing this? This is how much this means to me, guys. I'm sitting at my high school graduation, and you're not supposed to have your phone out, but I was like, I gotta watch Jesus Pinedo and Brendan Loughnane. So I'm sitting there while dudes' names are being called out. I don't think my parents recorded this or not, but I'm sitting there and I'm watching Jesus Pinedo, Brendan Loughnane, and it just amazed me that Pinedo knocked him out in the first round. I don't know why I had to tell that story. That's just the first thing that always comes to mind. That's how much MMA means to me, guys. You only get to graduate high school once. Now I'm sitting there watching Jesus Pinedo and Brendan Loughnane. remember early in the card, I was watching Kasung and I fight when we were waiting to walk out. Regardless, I don't know how Pinedo's run really. I mean, okay, he beat Bubba Jenkins, but I like Bubba Jenkins. Pinedo missed weight, and Bubba Jenkins is kind of washed. I like Bubba Jenkins, but he's kind of washed. And then he beats Gabriel Braga. Good fight, he wins it. But at the same time, Braga kind of unproven as well. I don't know. At the time he was, right? And he split with Braga that year. Lost the first fight to Braga in the regular season and then beat him the second time around. Okay. I'm going to take Pinedo to beat Adam Borics. I think the hands really are that heavy, and I think he's that good of a striker. He's only 28 years old, and he's huge for the weight class. He's 6 feet tall at 145 pounds. I mean, Borics is 5'11", too. I think Pinedo finds a way to the knockout. I'm not that confident in it, though. I really want to see this test, because I think Adam Borics, legitimately, when we look at the featherweight division right now, these are fighters, if I had to rank all of these guys, 1 through 8, this is 2 and 3, personally. I got Khaybulaev 1, I got Pinedo and Borics 2, 3, however you want to rank them, and then from there, I think we go Braga, Kennedy, Braga, so yeah, Braga, Kennedy, Kyun, Dupras, Kelly. That's probably how I'd rank the 8, you know? So we'll see. I'm really interested to see what happens here. I'm going to Jesus Pinedo by second round TKO, though. To the main event. In the welterweight division, the biggest name on the card, I'd say, yes, the ass-kicking machine, Jason Jackson, takes on Andre Koreshkov. I think Jason Jackson gets him. I think Jason Jackson should be the favorite to win this tournament. I fully believe it. I think he should. I know Umalatov's here. I know Thad Jean can be, has potential. I think Jason Jackson should be the favorite, though, to win the welterweight tournament. He's the most experienced guy in the bracket. He's only 34 years old. He's been around for a while, but he's only 34. I know he's coming off a loss in his last fight, losing the Bellator championship to Ramazan Kurmagomedov. Where is that guy? I don't know. Why is he not in this tournament? I don't know. Kurmagomedov came out of nowhere, hadn't fought anybody, but then all of a sudden got the title shot. He was an underdog. Yes, Magomedov was a underdog in a title fight, and he ended up beating Jason Jackson. He ended up taking over as that fight went on. Okay. It is what it is for Jason Jackson, right? The guy's solid. He's got a great ground game, and I think he should be able to take Koreshkov down. I get it. It's hard to do at times, but I just think Jason Jackson is better than Andre Koreshkov, who's 34 years old, but yes, he is a much older 34 than Jason Jackson is, right? I mean, Koreshkov's been in so many fights, right? Former Bellator champion back in 2015, right? I mean, he's been around for forever. This guy beat Benson Henderson back in 2016 as well, defended the championship. I mean, Koreshkov has been around for a million years, it feels like, at this point. I just think Jason Jackson's able to handle him. I think Jason Jackson's better. I know Jason Jackson is not the most crowd-pleasing type of fighter, even though some of his fights recently have been better. His striking has continued to evolve, and his grappling is really good, and we know how the heavy wrestling style that Jason Jackson is going to present. I think it's a tough fight stylistically for Koreshkov. I think he will have an advantage striking-wise. We've seen Jason Jackson finished a couple times in the feet before in the past. I think people forget this is a guy who fought in the Contender Series and was on the Ultimate Fighter back in 2015, which is surprising because he got a shot to be in the UFC back in 2017, and he lost, right? He got injured, but who did he fight? He fought Kyle Stewart. Like, who is Kyle Stewart? Went 0-2 in the UFC. Regardless, I'm taking the ass-kicking machine here, though, to beat Andre Koreshkov. I think it's a wrestling-heavy fight out of Jason Jackson. I just don't think he allows Koreshkov to breathe in this one. I think it's going to be pressure, and Jason Jackson, the ass-kicking machine, should be able to win this fight by unanimous decision, putting him in what we think is a second-round matchup with Thad Jean, which should be fun, but another stylistically really tough fight for Thad Jean. So, again, I think Jason Jackson has to be the favorite to win the welterweight division. Not as big of as a guarantee as I think the featherweight division is Mavid Khaybulaev, as long as he's able to stay healthy. But we will see. PFL 2025, folks. Make sure to join us next week for more PFL action. We're doing this all year long with the PFL. Don't forget UFC predictions in the description down below. We've got our GFL predictions coming up in May. Folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching. At Mamba forever.